What can be reductively described as just a medium of entertainment is an emotion for many, including me. An emotion that brings peace to a lot of people's hearts. A kind of peace that I'm sure meant a lot to many people like me when they were growing up. I'm sure that you all already know that I am talking about anime. I owe a lot to it, I do. I don't exactly come from the nicest of family, so I can pretty much say that when I was a kid, anime was one of the only things that could make me believe there was any good in the world. Anime has a bit of everything for everyone. Doesn't matter if you're a narcissist who only cares about himself or an empath who cannot stop giving too much. Doesn't matter if you're a loner or the spotlight of the party. Whether you're a vegan or someone who exclusively eats bull testicles. Yuck! I am sure you will be able to find your solace in an anime that is made for you. The amount of variety available in the medium of anime is more than enough, I would say. From the vast and wide world of Pokemon, in which you can get lost for what seems like forever, to the chaotic and sad world of Naruto, where there was so much distress, so much trauma, but yet my boy did not stray from the path of the righteous. He had every right to be the evilest character in the series, yet he turned out to be one of the kindest. To go through what Naruto did and just brush it off with a smile like this is the craziest feat, in my opinion. In my whole life, I have watched quite a lot of animes, so much so that it feels like I'm a Walmart giggle at times. One of the most prominent examples of when I felt completely absorbed was when I first watched Your Name. No, not Your Name,
I don't know.
who you are. I'm talking about the movie Kimi no Na wa. I was absolutely blown away. I was blown away by the animation, I was blown away by the art style, I was blown away by the depth of what seems like a very simple story in hindsight. Taki and Mitsuha will always have a very special place in my heart, even though there was nothing particularly special about their personalities. Just the way they strive for each other, pure and simple, love and selflessness, no flashy gestures, no romantic complexities. Just a showcase of pure love. No matter how unrealistic it might be to give it your all for someone you barely know. It makes you feel good. It's good enough. And who says escapes need to be realistic anyway? Call it cliche, but I gotta give credit where it's due. And the music. Oh my god, the music. It was some of the most beautiful pieces of J-pop that I ever listened to, and each note that the music hit, it felt as though my heart sank deeper and deeper in the tragedies around the characters' lives. Their pain felt like my pain, their happiness felt like my happiness, and even to this day, when it has been over half a decade since I last watched that movie, when I listen to the soundtrack, I flash back to that beautiful story like I am living in it. It is a truly grounding feeling that I would always recommend for everyone to experience at least once in their lives. I cannot stress this enough. Radvims cannot be given enough praise. No matter how much of it you throw at them, it just falls short. This brings to my attention the concept of
core memories.
it is a weird one. Emotionally heightened moments that you remember. Just like that. Would it be weird if I told you I had none of those? Well, none of those from real life, that is. One of my very few and earliest core memories is watching the Pokemon movie, Lucario and the Mystery of Mew. For context, I am the kind of person who does not remember anything, yet I remember that movie. Albeit not vividly, but well enough. My inner child remembered what it felt like seeing the heroes you loved and were attached to just disappear into nothingness. It was an absolutely dreadful experience. But the relief I felt when everything turned out alright was more than worth it. I wish I could feel like I did back then once more. Another example is one of the first Digimon movies. It was a movie for kids. I was a kid. I didn't quite remember the names of the characters, or the movie in fact. All I remembered is how the entire world was in danger and it was completely up to our heroes to stop the threat. You know, the usual cliche. I also remembered how they were very short on time. I remembered how I felt, panicked and stressed out in those few moments. I carried the memory of that feeling, and with the help of modern AI, I was able to find that movie. The nostalgia hit very hard. Revisiting your core memories can be a very rewarding experience if approached with good enough care. I think the reason some of us love anime so much is because it had a big enough impact on us in our childhoods, and we are more susceptible to letting things affect us than we are children. I personally believe that if you watched anime as a child, then it vastly increases your likelihood of being able to connect to it in the present. If you, an adult, watch an anime in front of your parents, especially if they're anything like mine, you're sure to get at least a taunt like, "Why are you watching cartoons? Cartoons are made for kids, you're not a kid." "Oh, I'm sorry, Dad. Let me go and travel across a river and three mountains to go to school like you did instead." "Oh, wait, there are no fucking mountains, so shut up." Parents can't understand the feeling of getting so deeply immersed in a show, especially when it's like nothing else in the world matters, and all you want to see is the next episode
of Dragon Ball Z.
Now that we are already on the topic of children's shows, I would like to add one more to the collection. There was an anime called Bakugan back in the day, literally translating to exploding spheres, and I quite vividly remember the first episode of that. Lots of cards falling from the sky, along with mysterious, majestic creatures called Bakugan. Catches? They were in the shape of a ball. To an adult, it would be probably very clear that this is an attempt to sell toys, but to a child, specifically me, it felt like the be-all and end-all of things. I won't ever forget the feeling of getting immersed so deep in the world of those magical creatures. It was everything. I suppose I really had a thing for magical creatures when I was a kid. I still do, but in a completely different way. While these are some anecdotes of what connected with me as a child, one of the relatively recent examples is Fruits Basket or Furuba. The story of Fruits Basket is, I feel like a story that will appeal to pretty much everyone if they choose to give it a proper chance. A protagonist so pure of heart that you can't help but root for her. A story so compelling that you can't wait to see what happens next. A cast so complex yet simple that you can't help but be amazed at their actions while relating to them. I remember when I was watching Furuba, the only thing I could think of was that I want Tohru to be happy. Quite literally, nothing else mattered. During the sad parts, I was sad for her. During the happy parts, I was relieved for her. But one thing was constant during the end. The tears. Be it happy tears or sad tears, tears were there. The title of the anime may seem confusing at first. Like, why is it called Fruits Basket? It doesn't really have anything to do with fruits or baskets. But when you do get to know the reason behind it, you will probably end up crying. Pro tip, don't Google that. Instead, watch the anime. That is probably the best advice I have ever given to anyone. There was a prequel for Fruits Basket that released after the main series ended. I honestly don't have proper words to encapsulate how beauteous that movie was. You should really watch Fruits Basket. If you consider yourself as someone who can even feel a single ounce of emotion, you should watch it. Trust me, it's gonna be more than worth it. Now this is just talking about how anime makes things special and meaningful. If mindless fun is what you're after, we have got that covered too. No judgment. From the shittiest memes of Lobotomy Kaizen to the absolute abomination that was JoJo. The strongest brain rot of today versus the strongest brain rot of history. Your next line is gonna be,
how could he possibly be alive with that hole in his head? Am I right?
But how could he possibly be alive with that hole in his head?
Ah yes, the incredibly popular meme by the best JoJo, Joseph Joestar. The meme material was immaculate. Jotaro's misogynistic behaviors that weren't really misogynistic in hindsight. The absolute bustedness of Gold experience with him and how it trapped Diablo in an infinite cycle of pure bliss. JoJo was something else, man. And I'm sure most of you know about Lobotomy Kaizen. The strongest sorcerer of today versus the strongest sorcerer of history. 君はゴージョを悟るだから最強なのか、それとも最強だからゴージョを悟るなのか。Oh my fucking god, that line means absolutely nothing. Are you Satoru Gojo because you're the strongest, or are you the strongest because you're Satoru Gojo? It is fucking brain rot. This line was spammed so much, oh my god. And of course we can't forget about the king of memes, the father of the big three. Wait, what if you were to combine both Jujutsu Kaisen and JoJo? What kind of next level monstrosity will that result in? JoJo Satoru? Oh nah, I'm getting the f out of here. And oh my, the brain rot is just getting started, I tell you. There are relatively newer anime that are making old ones look tame. Looking at you, Dandadan. I mean, all your ghosts and aliens and psychics aside, why the fuck does your protagonist lose his f***ing dick in the first f***ing episode? And that is not all. When he does eventually get his back, Why does he not get his balls along with it? I cannot even imagine what kind of brain rot this anime will be generating if it keeps up this pace. The strongest brain rot of today versus the strongest brain rot of the future. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the potential man of brain rot. And the best part is that Dandan is not just pure brain rot. It is a really good story as far as I can tell from watching the first season. It does an incredible job of showcasing how love works among people who don't have much experience with it. The insecurities, the cute jealousies, the absolute bliss that is falling in love for the first time ever. So Dandadan has got it all covered. Something for people that just want meaningless fun and something for those who are looking for something deeper. Dandadan really gives me hope for the future of anime, and I am very excitedly looking towards to the next generation of both brain rot and blissfulness. I am so incredibly grateful to all those mangakas, animators, voice actors, and everyone involved in the making of these beautiful masterpieces. Thank you for making my childhood bearable and then some. I don't have the resources right now to pay proper respects to all these animes that I have mentioned so far. If I ever get big enough and have editors that can help me make videos I feel even more proud of, I will surely pay all the respects to each one of them. This type of video is something I don't generally do on this channel. By this type of video, I mean something which has a meaning beyond meaninglessness. While it can be fun to find fun in meaninglessness, every once in a while we need a tad bit of meaning here and there. And let me know if this is the sort of video you would like to see in the future. This is a relatively short video about anime in general, but I would like to do videos like this in the future too. Maybe about specific animes, maybe about something else too, like both the parts of The Last of Us. Those games were peak. Keep in mind this doesn't mean that I will be deviating this channel from mocking and making fun of people and things. But while it is fundamentally important to hate on things, I believe it is also important to love and appreciate things. I envision this channel to be a melange of appreciating and criticizing. A complete Tao, if I may. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you did. It helps me maintain the motivation to get out of bed every day and make videos so you guys can keep enjoying them. Also, I have recently made a Patreon. If you really love my videos for some reason, maybe you can consider joining. You will get access to my private Discord if you do. Alright, thanks for watching.